Hello, this is Shaky Beeves and welcome to my video on why I believe Battlefield 3 maps are simply the best, no pun intended. And I'm actually going to use Metro as a bit of an example actually, while a few clips play in the background. And also if you stick around to my commentaries over, there's kind of a full match on Metro anyway, some nice LSAT gameplay, so stick around for that, pretty good game. But firstly I want to talk through why I believe Battlefield 3 maps are far superior to Battlefield 4 and a good example of map design. So using Metro as an example and using that in parallel or in comparison versus Operation Locker or Lockers. I actually think Lockers is just purely a inferior example of that kind of map that I think DICE were aiming for. So Operation Locker I've never enjoyed in Battlefield 4. For me, all the choke points are just that, choke points. There's no real strategy for me, and that might be a bit of what's the word, a controversial opinion, because I noticed that Operation Locker on Battlefield 4 is a hugely popular map, and I noticed the servers set up just to run that map full time. For me, I find it a highly frustrating, unsatisfying map to play, and I just want to use the comparison between Metro and Lockers to talk that through. So for me, the choke points, are simply choke points. There are very little flanking routes to get around those choke points, and in actuality the actual flanking route on Operation Locker is very signposted, and both teams know where it is, and that's the outside area in the snow where you kind of collide there. But even the frays that take place there aren't very interesting, because you just end up facing each other on the path and you go, right, got to kill the enemy so we can flank them on the other side. I just find it a poor emulation or copy of Operation Metro. It's like they were trying to seize that gold dust again with that particular map design, but for me they fell short. So that is a very good case scenario of why I think Battlefield 3 maps are far superior and are just the best. Operation Metro is sublime. I think I could play that map eternally. Yes, there are choke points, but those choke points can be overcome by multiple flanking opportunities. There's so many different strategies that you can apply, whereas on Lockers the strategy is just spam grenades, spam noob tubes, anything down the alleyway, and that's pretty much it. Or sit there with a support gun. So I think Metro is a fantastically designed map. Amazing choke points that are fun. Great skirmishes, and actually if you think about it, they open out into very good open skirmishes for B flag. If you both break into the middle, it's very open and wide in terms of the gameplay, and it just feels great. So you have kind of an open skirmish there. And then on A flag as well, again you've got two different buildings opposite sides, and you can have some amazing battles over the A flag, which tends to happen less, and it happened more on Battlefield 3, and I wish it happened more on Battlefield 4. So those open skirmishes, so you go from choke point to open skirmishes, are much better on Operation Metro, whereas Lockers I struggled to see very interesting open skirmishes on that map. It is purely choke point after choke point, and I find that highly frustrating. So for me, that's a great scenario of why I think Battlefield 3 maps are better versus Battlefield 4. And in actuality I want to talk about some of the other maps. For me they're standout. You've got stuff like Noshar Canals, a superb map for infantry combat. It was so fun. Some great battles on that map. You've got Damavan Peak, which was just incredible. The fact that you could get a scout helicopter down the tunnel was just proper movie stuff. It was just great. Tehran Highway, the night map. You had Grand Bazaar, was another fantastic infantry map. And actually some of the DLC maps on there, Back to Karkan, was just superb. I know that's one of the older Battlefields, but actually that brings me on to another point. Wake Island and Back to Karkan, which were two additional maps, throwbacks if you like, that were included in Battlefield 3. The map design of those were just superb. I just wanted to play them over and over again. Again, to talk about Wake Island, it was great for an attack helicopter. So much better than Paracel Storm. I find something about the pace of Paracel Storm just doesn't feel right. There's one area where you can have a good skirmish, which was between B and A, but other than that you find yourself just swimming between islands or taking boats between islands. And it's great if you're pretty elite at the vehicles, but if you're like me that likes a mixture of infantry and vehicular combat, I find Paracel Storm just a lesser version of Wake Island. Again, just a poor man's version of a prior map. And that, I think, is a common theme of Battlefield 4. I know this video, the intention of it was to talk about why Battlefield 3 maps are better, and I do think they are. You know, hence the DLC pack that I'm playing through on here with the Metro, Gulf of Oman, Operation Firestorm, just superb maps. Fans wanted them back and DICE listened, and they wanted them back for a reason, because they were simply better maps. I find the majority of the Battlefield 4 maps, if we are going to talk about that, I didn't enjoy a hell of a lot of them. There's one I would pick out that I really enjoyed, Flood Zone, and that one for me is standout. I'd love to see that in a future DLC on the next modern Battlefield, so that is standout. Other than that, there's a lot I really don't like. I don't like Zavod 311. I just find that, again, frustrating choke points at the bottom of each warehouse. It just kind of doesn't feel that great. I think that's the difference with Battlefield 3 maps, is you had choke points, you had these areas where a lot of volatility happened, but then you have very well positioned areas that open up, that allow you to have these open, more freer in terms of choices, combat, you know. So yeah, I think there's something missing from Battlefield 4 maps, and it's something that I think Battlefield 3 had in spades, in buckets, that made you just want to play the same maps over and over again. You know, I didn't mention Caspian Border, another superb map in terms of balance. If you think about it, you can have so much fun on that map with vehicles. There's great tanking routes, there's great helicopter strategies that you can apply, but you can also have some great infantry warfare, you know, across the middle two flags. I think it's B and C. You know, I think C is lower down across the river and B is up high. I might have them wrong, it might be D and C. But either way, those central two flags are just superb for an infantry battle. You know, you can sit either side of the river and just take up camp with a DMR and just have a load of fun in the middle there. And again, so a common theme is open skirmishes where you can have some great infantry warfare, but also complements vehicular warfare. That's something I don't think Battlefield 4 quite got right, and it's something, again, to repeat myself, that Battlefield 3 just did really, really well. So yeah, I've gabbed on. I'd love to know your opinion, see what your thoughts are. These are just my feelings. Battlefield 4 for me has always been harder to invest in because I didn't find a lot of the maps that enjoyable. I'm a man that loves to flank, and when you don't have that good balance of infantry and vehicular warfare, I find it a little bit unsettling. So yeah, I think some of the DLC, like China Rising on Battlefield 4, brought me back to that. It made me feel like, yes, this feels like a Battlefield game. But yeah, I'd love to know your opinion. What is your opinion? Do you think Battlefield 3 maps are the best, like me? I certainly do. I did want to add in Battlefield Bad Company 2 as well, because I think those maps are superb. But if we're just looking at the core Battlefield franchise, I would say the Battlefield 3 map list was just sublime. And Battlefield 4 just fell short a little bit for me. So yeah, stick your comments down below. Enjoy this match on Metro. Starts off really, really well. I'm well over a 2.0 KD at the start. A good 15 minutes of awesome gameplay on support. Then, I don't know if this happens to you guys, the curse of looking at the scoreboard, I couldn't help it. I looked at the scoreboard. After that, I had this dip in performance, kept getting loads of kill assists, just got killed quite a bit. So it ends up not quite as glorious as it could have been. And I don't know if that happens to you, the scoreboard curse. You look at the scoreboard and after that you start performing badly. It seems to be something I do. But nonetheless, there's some really good gameplay up until that point, a good 15 minutes. Then I edit out the slump, and then we finish off on a high again with some solid support gameplay. Loads of objective play, loads of ammo drop in, loads of kill feeds on the old IRNV site or Flickr site, I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, so enjoy it, and thanks for watching. Take care, guys.
Objective Alpha.